Are you listening? Damn.
Hey guys, I'm Courtney,
And I'm Josh.
and welcome to the Infinite Balance Podcast.
We'll navigate parenting, relationships, health, fitness, and so much more.
So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and let's hang out.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hello! Welcome to a new week.
A brand new week.
1 week closer to Christmas.
New year.
Woo
Everything
woo!
positive coming up soon. So we've done a couple of, what I would call downer episodes the last couple of times, even though we still had fun and stuff.
Informative, but not upbeat.
Yeah. So, we kind of wanted to focus on the more positive side of things with this one and kind of, make sure that we are kind of providing more valuable information about, just, things that like we've been saying in the past couple episodes, like how you can flip the script and do all that kind of stuff. Well, now today we've decided to bring it back to complete basics and kind of dig deep into motivation and what your why is, what gets you, what's making you think about making changes, what's making you do what you want to do, and well, I think it's important. I think it's important to really get that idea, and when it hits you upside your head, for lack of a better term, I think that it's, it's something that's self-motivating.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really have to try for anything. It's like you have that thing in your mind and it's burning at you and now you have to do it,
Yeah, and I think it's also good to point out that it's not something that, like, if you necessarily go looking for, you're gonna find.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things that I really feel you could try a different avenue every week. But like you said, until it literally smacks you upside the head, you're not necessarily going to know it. I know I've done many ventures in my life, especially in the past 5 years. And at the beginning, all of them were like, yes, this is going to be great. This is going to be good, doing my own baking business and my own Cree-cut business. And they were good, but they weren't what I was supposed to do. And so...
And how did you know that?
Just after a while, I was like, I don't really love this. I'm not enjoying it. Like, part of it was harder than I expected them to be. And so I just kind of gave up. And
for the people out there who go through the same thing, what's the difference for you between just giving up because it's too difficult and it not being like your purpose?
Well, it's good that you asked that, because I was just about to say it. I think you just feel it. Like, if something is meant to be your purpose, like, there are going to be times where you question yourself, you think about giving up, it just gets hard, and you just are like, this isn't, I can't. But the difference is that if something, in my opinion, is meant to be your purpose, there's always a reason to not give it up. There's always that thing of like, but I really want to be successful with this. Like, but I really want to keep putting the time in. But I've already put so much time in. And that to me has been the difference for me. When I've done the baking business, it got hard. It was not as successful as I wanted it to be. I didn't have the time or the money to be putting into it. And I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to do this for fun. If someone asks me, I'll make them something, but this is not what I want to pursue. Where now...
It's not like we had a professional kitchen at the time either.
Yeah.
We had a very...
Well, and it's also, baking's a lot of time and money. You need a lot of equipment. And it's not like, okay, I throw it in the oven and in 30 minutes it's done and the whole thing's done. You then have to structure it. Like, there's just a lot more to it. And it was more than I think I knew when I first started it. But now, like, there are times where I'm like, all right, this business is taking a lot longer to kick off than I wanted to. Or if I have a slow month, I'm like, this is just, I don't know if this is what I want to do. But then I have that realization that, like, no, I love this. Like, I don't want to give this up. If I gave this up, I really would feel lost. I don't know what I would do. And so that to me is when you have those down moments, that's the difference.
Yeah.
Between just giving up and knowing like, no, I need to keep pushing. You just feel it. It's that guilt, like that gut feeling of I have to keep going. And, and that definitely, when you have those moments of like, oh, this is really hard, sometimes that's when you need to make a pivot. I'm making that pivot right now where I'm not giving up the Beachbody stuff, but I'm starting to put more into practice what I've been learning. I'm putting my education more into practice so that I'm not just Beachbody. I love Beachbody and I love the workouts and I'm going to continue to do them, but I'm also going to find my own path within that realm.
Cool. I like it.
So when and it's your purpose, it's a gut thing. Basically.
Yeah. And it's like when I used to work for the school that we met at for disabled kids, I kind of knew that wasn't necessarily my purpose. It contributed to my purpose, but it wasn't necessarily my purpose because it was something that, just burnt me out after a while. And it was something that I felt like wasn't sustainable, I wasn't happy there. It's not a system that I believed in. And, I think that's when I started branching out and exploring other things. And I dive into things like 100%, like right off the bat. Everything that I've done, the pest control and, deliveries and everything, like I just jump right into it. And after a while, like, it's never a challenge. It's never a thing of like it being difficult for me because whatever can be difficult. So I just go with it. It's more of a thing of like, is this something I want to do? Like I started just reaching this point where I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where, And then like when I thought about it one day, after we moved upstate, I was like, like I've always been so into like exercise and like nutrition, and I ended up just giving up on it because I didn't have enough information about it. And like I would look stuff up online all the time and I would do my own research, but then like you hear so many conflicting ideas and you hear back and forth, this is good, that's good, do it this way, do it that way, lift, don't lift, whatever, and I was just so burnt out by it that I just kept stopping it. I think the one day that I thought about it and I was like, you know what? Institute for Integrative Nutrition, like that's the avenue I want to go. Like that just hit me the right way. And I always say it that like maybe it would have been better if I went with more science-based stuff, more evidence-based stuff. And like this program definitely had it. But for somebody like me, like they wrapped everything together, like how the mind, body, and spirit are
holistic.
Yeah, like how everything contributes to everything and how you can dissect things and piece things back together and whatever. And so like when I found that, I feel like I struck a chord, in my own soul or body or whatever. And I feel like from that day, I noticed that I knew that I was supposed to do something in that realm. And like I've always thought about it, and then one day it just clicked, like why not be a personal trainer? Why not go and get this education and learn about everything that I want to learn about? Like why not dive into this? And it goes back to what we said a couple episodes. Is like I think I was kind of like afraid to do it because I didn't think I was good enough for it. And then like after I started diving into it and like just like immediately like acing the tests and like everything, like I was like, all right, like this is my thing, and it's been great ever since, Yeah,
I think it's important that if you have something that you are attracted to and that it like just calls your name, go for it. If it's not your purpose, you'll find out.
Yeah.
You'll realize it.
Yeah.
And that's not like, oh, I should be like, what if it doesn't work out? Then what's my purpose? If it's not your purpose,
there's no harm in trying.
Yeah, there's no harm in trying. And if it's not your purpose, giving it up literally will not tear you apart.
Yeah.
It'll just be like, all right, well,
gave it that shot. At least I
tried. Gonna go back on with my life. Like It's not gonna tear you apart. If you go for something and it gets hard and you give it up and you are miserable, guess what? go back to it.
Yeah.
Give it another shot.
Try again.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath and realign and go at it again.
But I think no matter what you do in life, whether it's your purpose, not your purpose, just have fun with it. Like I said before, if you go looking for your purpose, you're not going to find it.
Mm.
You're going to find a lot of things that seem good at the time.
Yep. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of us do. We kind of wade through life reaching for things until we finally are like, oh, this feels different.
Well, I think to a certain degree, we're kind of, it's kind of in our culture, like our human culture, to do that. I think ever since most of us have been brought up, it wasn't like, oh, there's some purpose that you're born for and go for it and live your dream and live your life. Like there's always that fantasy of like, oh, you'll aspire to be, or you'll become like a millionaire and you'll be making tons of money and you'll be a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer, a entertainer, whatever. And but I think it's like deep seated that we have to go through these struggles and you have to do what you need to do to provide for your family. And you need to, kind of sacrifice what you want in order to live this ideal that like you need to work to pay bills,
Which like, yes, you do, but.
Right. You do. But like, you don't have to work in a job that you're miserable at.
Yeah.
Or, and not a lot of people realize how like challenging but easy it can also be to start up your own business on the side, like me and you are living it right now, but like how hard was it really to start it? It's mostly just time,
it's
time and
it's
effort.
also just taking that leap.
Yeah. That's
scary.
your biggest scary thing that you're going to deal with is just taking that initial leap into doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
And now how many different things are we trying? Now we're going for the nutrition certifications, the CPT certifications, there's 5 separate programs in NASM that we're going
Injury
for.
prevention.
Yeah, we started a podcast and we're looking into doing audio, video and stuff like that for the channel and things like that. And it's just, this is stuff we used to never think about until we decided to just jump in and do it. We started on our phone.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys knew that. The first couple episodes we recorded with Josh's phone on a recording app in between us. And we would sit like we were around a campfire and we would talk into the phone and hope it sounded good.
Yeah. And like we're not to studio quality yet, I know that, but we're
a step closer.
Yeah, we're worlds away from just, echoing on a phone.
Hoping that anytime our dog moved or someone walked upstairs, we had to stop.
Yeah.
Wait for it to end. Like now we can just keep going with our conversations.
So it's, it's definitely worth trying. It's not, no matter how hard things get, there's no bad part about trying, and like I've been going through a lot of stuff lately where, I felt like I was just running into a wall continuously and over and over again. But I even said it to you today. I was like, but I am not going to stop trying. The one thing that I can do to make myself miserable is go back into my old habits where I used to stay up all night and just play games or do whatever, or, or drink or just be lazy or, whatever. Like I can do all that stuff, but what benefit, you know what I mean? If I fall back into that pattern, I will give up, and I'm tired of giving up. I'm tired of doing that. I want to see our family get to where I envision our family being, and our businesses and like everything that we're trying to do. I think we have a hell of a lot to bring to the table to everybody and, to teach people and to help people. So like, I don't know. I guess when you have that kind of passion and you discover it, like that's the one thing you can't go without doing.
Yeah.
Like everything else is just kind of falls off to the side, and that's the one thing you need to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, like you said before, you don't need to work to pay the bills. Like if you are working and you hate your job, like that's one thing, because then work and hate that job, but have that goal then when you find your purpose of getting out of that job you hate. And I think something too that contributes a lot to people hating what they do in their lives and just being miserable is that in America, we put a lot of pressure on going to college right away.
Yeah.
And if you look at like European countries, like their students take what they call a gap year, and it's a year for them to kind of just like go live life and enjoy it and figure out what you want to do, because it is a lot to ask a 17, 18-year-old, what do you want to do for the rest of your life?
And
that's
no
what you have
point.
to decide right now. And
there's not really a point to it, because how many times do we change our minds throughout the day, every day? Like, especially as teenagers, like you're more worried about going out and hanging out rather than, oh my God, what am I going to do for the next 60, 70, 80 years?
Yeah.
Like, come on, that's
why you see so many people go back to work or shift gears and where they're going in their career. And, I think one of the things with COVID, because I work in a college setting, so I'm seeing this, there's a lot of kids who are taking a year off. They're like, you know what? I'm not going to pay all this money to go to college when I'm just going to end up being at home on my computer anyway. And I think it's great. I think it's creating this new culture that I honestly hope sticks a little bit. Like I said, I work in the college setting, so obviously I want to see colleges do well financially. But but I think it's good for these students to go out and experience the world. Because I see a lot of freshmen that come in and they do not know what the world is going to throw at them. And when you get thrown into college, it's the real world, like pre-world. And it slaps these kids in the face, and a lot of them can't handle it. They get hit with reality real quick. I know I tell my players, like, your parents, if they call me, one, they shouldn't have my number. Two, if they call, email me, whatever, about playing time, you're done. Because when you go into the real world in the next 4 years and you don't get the promotion or you don't get the job and your mom or dad calls, guess what? You're now on the blacklist. Like, you're not getting any job in that industry. You have to learn to be an adult. And it starts with being in college. So I feel not putting that pressure on the kids, letting them take a year, like go do trade school, have that trade. I know someone who
that's what I was
father,
just going to say is like, because that gives you a little bit of working experience in that field, even if it's not, say, being a mechanic. So what? Work as the front desk person or whatever. Work as a parts ordering person. Who cares? Like, at least you get to hang out with the mechanics, see what the mechanics are doing, see and learn from them.
Yeah, I know. I have a friend who her father, before they went to college, they did both. He said you have to pick a trade, so that because there's always going to be a need for the trades. You do the trade school, and then after that, I'll pay for your college. But you have to go to trade school first, and that's what they all did. They all went to trade school first.
Yeah,
I think that's great. Either go to trade school, take some time off. Like, I don't think there needs to be all this pressure to know what your path in life is at 17 years old.
Yeah, I think the notion of it is kind of insane because, like I said before, everybody changes their mind all the time, and nobody's gonna, it's you have life to guide you in the right direction. Like, some people know it, but some people don't see it. If I had saw when I was 17, 18, like, oh my God, I like working out. I like exercising. I used to have a weight bench in my bedroom when I was 17. And like, I loved it. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think there was a profession behind it and all this other stuff. I thought to get paid for doing fitness stuff, you had to be like an athlete or something. And that's not the case. Like, you learn these things along the way, and you get real life lessons from people you interact with. And, as long as you stay true to yourself, you'll find that your purpose will find you, and it's not going to find you too early or too late. There's no such thing. For some reason, you get to that point because of something, and that helps you drive your purpose home even harder, But yeah, like, the main point is that you may not know where you might be 56 years old right now, and you don't know what you want to do for the rest of your life.
And that's okay.
Fine. Think of it like this: you got 40 more years to go,
at least.
like, You have so much that you can take care of in that time, and so much that you can do on top of what you have already accomplished, whether you're 18, 30, 40, 50, 60. I heard one of the people on Instagram that I follow, they said 50 is the new 30. And I love that phrase, because it really sends it home that, like, the older you get doesn't matter, like it matters for experience and things like that, but it just doesn't matter time wise. You don't have control of time. So what? That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Time is like a construct that we've made up as human beings to help control certain things, and it's not an entity that can be controlled.
Yeah.
You can be a billionaire and get hit by a car tomorrow. You can be poor as hell and live for the next 30, 40, 50 years. You never know where you're going to end up or what you're going to do, but your purpose is there along the way. There's something behind where you're ending up in life right now.
Yeah. If you have found your purpose, I applaud you. If you haven't, it's going to come. Mm-hmm. It's going to come. Don't stress it. Just enjoy the ride while you get there. Enjoy every second of it.
That's the biggest part of it, accept the experiences that you have and kind of just be glad that you've been fortunate enough to have those experiences. Yeah. But Courtney was told that it would be like an improbability that she would have kids because of a pituitary tumor. Mm-hmm. So, I remember the first day that she told me that, I was like, well, I don't feel like that's anything that we have to be concerned with. So whatever, like not the tumor itself, but having kids, obviously. And we ended up with 3 kids.
Yeah.
Even if
enjoy the ride.
Yeah. Like we said at the time, like, whatever happens, happens. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were fortunate, and we had 3 glorious, energy-sucking,
healthy,
little
beautiful babes.
Fireballs.
Oh, there's something. But like I said, if you have found your purpose, I applaud you. We applaud you. Mm-hmm. Great. Tell us about it. Like,
come on the show.
Yeah. Tell us what it is.
We'll feature you.
If you haven't, come on the show. Maybe we'll figure it out. Like, talk to us. We'll help. We'll give you advice on how we got there, but just enjoy the ride.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much the point of this whole episode, is just right there.
Enjoy.
There's no other way to drive it home but enjoy the ride. Stop thinking about it so hard. Stop. I'm not going to tell you to stop gunning for it, because I don't ever believe that you should, but you'll find it.
Yeah.
Regardless, you can run into 160 walls, and somewhere there's going to be a door. It's just how it works.
Yep.
What's the biggest, like, this doesn't have to be recent, but what's the biggest, most favorite thing that you've learned health and fitness wise overall? Anything.
The biggest thing or my favorite thing? Because those aren't necessarily going to be the same.
Your biggest favorite thing.
Biggest favorite thing that I've learned that's been the most helpful and eye-opening is that it's not one-dimensional. Health and fitness is 4D. It's going to be different for everyone. The same exercises aren't going to work for everyone. The same programs aren't going to work for everyone. And there's more to it than what you see. Growing up, I was always very, like I said, one-dimensional, that it was, you go to the gym, you either do cardio or you lift weights. There's really nothing in between. And a girl lifting weights is weird. That's not what we do. That's like, if you're a girl lifting weights, you're like a meathead and not attractive because of you're too muscular. And it wasn't until I met you and you kind of opened my eyes to it that I learned that that's not necessarily the case.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And in honesty, that's brought me to kind of where I am right now with my health and fitness goals and business, because I want other women to see that we can do what the guys do in our own way and it not be gross or whatever, or one of those negative connotations we hear. And it's also in my full-time college job, I just started a committee for females in sports where we're going to talk about that. That's going to be one of the things that we tackle, is kind of like how to work around the weight room so that you do a workout that is best for you, but you don't like shy away from doing things because you're afraid of how people are going to look at you. That it's okay for women
stigma.
Yeah, it's okay for women to be in the weight room. I have seen more girls, now that I've run the fitness center, I've seen more girls like doing the free weights and like using the bars than like I've seen in my entire life, and that's so empowering. I love that. So that's probably the biggest thing, is it's not one dimensional. It's very much 4-dimensional.
Holistic.
Yeah, it's holistic. It's for it literally is for everyone. It's not just for men or athletes. It's for everyone.
It's true. And it goes back to like the finding your purpose thing, I think, where like, you know, whatever you think your goal is in the gym, like go for it. There's who cares who's looking at you? They're probably looking because they're jealous.
Yeah.
You know.
And if they're not jealous, they'll be jealous.
Yeah, like just do what you need to do. Go for it. I used to work with this one girl who said to me once, she goes, you know, why do guys do certain things that they do? And I looked at her and I was like, because you guys are better at everything. What else do we have to impress you with? And she looked at me and she's like, well, damn.
That's a good answer.
You know, and I'm like, we're on even playing field. No matter what society says about either side, it's an even playing field, you know? And I think that, you know, I see it every day with people that I follow, their fitness pages or whatever. And, you know, somebody hits them up saying, you look like a guy. And then they fire right back saying, like, just because you look wussier than me doesn't mean anything. Yeah. You know, and it's 100% true. You know, go with pride. Enjoy what your body's capable of. You know. GG.
Who is your favorite superhero of all time?
Of all time. Now, do you mean superhero as in superhero or just general comic book?
Like, it doesn't have to be mainstream. It could be like any comic book, I guess. I don't know. Who's your favorite?
Like, I mean character, like any comic book character.
Yeah, who's your, like, I mean, yeah, I guess it could be a villain or whoever. Who's your favorite
super
character?
Person?
Yeah.
Honestly, and don't shut the episode off because of this, hear me out, Thanos. Because in the comic books, in the Infinity Gauntlet saga of the comic books, or no, I'm sorry, it's a part of it, but it's not till later. I forgot what the comic book series was called, but Thanos finally achieves what he ultimately wants, which is like the ultimate and all be all power, blah blah blah. And when he finally uses it, and like he said in the Endgame movie that he's going to shred the universe down to the last atom, he actually did that in the comic books. And he realized at the end of it all, it's just him and this power. And he was faced with some really hard things where like, so what has all this been for? Now I'm here, like, for what though, you know? And it was a really like wow moment where like people hated this guy up until this point, rightfully so, you know, up until this point. And then he came to this absolute realization, and he ended up committing what they call like a you know, cosmic suicide or whatever. That's what they called it in the comic books. And he said, you know, the only thing that has to be fair is balance. Like, you know, you can't abuse the power that you've been given. You can't you know, trick death, and you can't do all this stuff. Like, fair is fair and balance is balance. But overall, the story's like ends up being a beautiful thing, because somebody who is so set in his ways, that's what it took for him to learn his lesson. And then he realized that what is this for? You know, like, I'm not achieving anything doing it this way, and I'm finally seeing it, you know?
Deep.
You asked.
Just saying, it was deep.
You should see when I have to explain things from the Marvel comics. Or, I mean, from the Marvel movies. One question can be in 20-minute conversation.
I don't ask. I don't. Nope. I'll just... Because usually you just come out and say it without me asking.
Mm. You ask.
Sometimes.
You do. So, what is your all-time most embarrassing to admit favorite TV show?
Embarrassing all-time favorite TV show.
Like, what's the one that you might hesitate to tell?
Like the guilty pleasure?
Yeah.
I don't know, because there's a lot of reality shows that I haven't watched in forever, but they would kind of be like, oh, I got to change this before he knows I'm watching it. So there's a couple of them. I'm trying to think of...
Wait, me? That's not fair.
Honestly, the show I used to like go to, there's two of them. These were like my go-to like guilty pleasures. The one was Tabitha's Salon Takeover. They're both Bravo shows.
What the hell was that?
It was this woman, Tabitha. She's like this big hairstylist, and she was basically like the Gordon Ramsay of the hair world, where like she'd go into these hair salons that were like disgusting, and she was so mean and like British or Australian or something. I don't know. She was mean, and she would like flip the shops, and it was great. It was so good.
I never even knew that existed.
Yeah, I know. It was on for a while, but the other one, not anymore. It's like the original beginning Real Housewives of New Jersey. That was like mindless, like guilty pleasure.
That should be everybody's guilty pleasure.
It's just so like now not so much. I'm not as into it, but like the originals, I was like, yes. And it was cool because like I knew Jersey because we're so close to it. So there's things that they talk about that I was like, oh my God, I know what that is. I've been through there. Like,
we have a lot of people that we know from New Jersey. We give them a hard time.
Dirty Jers. So yeah, those are like the that I can think of. There might be others that are more of a guilty pleasure that are more recent, but those were definitely my top. I miss Tabitha Salon Takeover. I miss it. Millionaire Matchmaker was a good one too, but these are all Bravo shows.
So you have like a guilt channel.
Nope. I just remembered one.
What?
Jersey Shore.
Oh my God.
But that was college. I was in college.
Well, folks, it's been a great episode, but now it's time to go.
It was on when I was in college, so it was just like mindless to watch. I know people who met them in Italy.
They shouldn't have.
Yeah, so that's the winner there, Jersey Shore. What's your favorite hobby, pastime outside of health and fitness and comic books that you don't do enough of?
Building.
Yeah?
I love building and fixing things. I love working with my hands. Woodworking, if I had the tools, metalworking, stuff like that. But I don't do it enough, and I never have enough time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I likes it.
Interesting.
That's why I get so crazy about my tools.
Yeah. Yes, you do. All right, cool. Quick and easy one. There you go.
The final question.
The final question.
For $3 bazillion.
That'd be great.
I can give it to you in imagination bills. What's the biggest thing that has changed in your mind? Should I make it easy or hard?
Please not too hard. Down the middle.
Since we met.
Biggest thing that's changed in my mind since we met.
Only rule is it's got to be something that used to be solid. Like, this is how it is.
I think how I looked at adulthood, not in like a bad way, but it was very like, no, this is the way things are done. There's an order that you go in, and we did not go in that order. And I am happy that we didn't, because I think it's what sets us apart. But I was very like, grew up and it was like, nope, you get married, you buy a house, you have kids, then you just live life. And we've kind of created our own order and our own path. And it's not that you were like, oh, we have to do it this way. It was just, we went with the flow of how things happened in our lives, and it's brought us to where we are now. So I'm thankful for it. But it was definitely like, that's one of the biggest things that changed in my mind.
You're welcome.
Favorite Christmas movie?
Favorite Christmas movie?
Like, this is what, like, this is like Desert Island movie.
I know which one I'd pick right off the bat from just going through my mind right now.
Well, what's the one you would pick right off the bat? Because it is lightning round. You're supposed to just...
I know, but I'm trying to remember, like, all the Christmas movies I've ever seen.
So what's the one right off the bat?
The Christmas Story.
Really? The one they play, like, 24 hours on loop?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. I like the guy's voice, the narrator.
I like that movie, but I can't watch it too much because a lot of times on Christmas it's just on all day.
Yeah, I only watch it once, usually during the season, but that would be my favorite.
It's a good one.
I don't really, because all the other ones are like kind of tacky or like.
It's different.
Yeah. I like that it shows the darker side of the holidays to some degree, but also
shows
in a
like
funny,
the realness.
But also in like the funny way.
Yeah, I feel like it shows like the reality of like the holidays, that it's not what you see in movies.
It also accentuates really well how I used to think as a kid. Like when Ralphie has to put the soap in his mouth and he's like, well, I'm going to imagine that I'm blind and you know, the parents are going to cry over their mistake. Like, I used to think that stuff when I was a kid.
Don't we all?
You know? But, yeah. I think it's an all-around good movie. It's serious without being too serious.
Yeah.
It's funny without being just dumb.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Well, folks.
This has been a nice little quick episode of ours. Usually we run a little bit longer, but...
Wanted to give you an easy, quick listen today.
Yeah. Lighthearted. As much as possible.
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Don't forget, check the show notes of how to get in touch with us. If you have questions, comments, concerns, you've got lightning round questions you want to ask, or you just want to say, hey.
And we do have a couple of ideas coming up that we're kind of waiting until after the holidays to pursue, which is, you know, like more live recordings, you know, stuff like that.
Just to offer you guys some more extra stuff.
Yeah. Possibly like a Let's Talk Twitch channel, stuff like that. But we'll keep you guys up to date on our Instagram or, you know, in the show notes. We'll keep you posted. Also, our patrons know first and foremost what's happening when it's happening. So make sure to keep up with that too. If you donate, you get all this awesome extra footage, get some of the bloopers and stuff that we take out of the episodes. And I don't ever edit the context of the episode. I just take out some of the stuff that it's like, you know,
us sitting there trying to think of a question.
Yeah, but there's a lot of fun stuff that happens in those moments where you see a lot of chemistry between Courtney and myself. But you know, we decided to save it for the patrons and see.
And get some cool gear made by yours truly for you.
Yep.
So check it out.
Definitely.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.